I know you, you're okay. So good evening everybody. Thanks a lot for coming to Tech Hub. This is the first public meetup of the Bucharest Legal Hackers chapter. I'm Tudor Stanciu. I'm one of the, actually at the moment, one of the initiators of this event and this meetup. Legal Hackers is an international concept. We're going to have two presentations which are focusing on the intersection of legal and technology. And before that, I'm just going to give you a short, brief summary about what, I think this is the one, yeah, what Legal Hackers is all about. As I mentioned, this is the agenda. We're going to have a presentation by Adrian from Termene.ro about named entity recognition and how do you extract relevant and structured information from legal documents. And then a presentation from Ana Udriște of Avocatul and Jurio on the Facebook profile private or public space. Just to give you another piece of information, we've already made public the date of the next event, which is going to happen on the 23rd of June. If you want to be on stage and talk about a topic which would be either interesting for the tech or for the tech industry or for related to the tech industry in general, and you come from the legal industry, or vice versa, if you're a developer or you work on some products in the area of legal tech, just check the Facebook event on the Bucharest Legal Hackers page, and there you'll find all the details about how you can send your topic for the next meetup. And in the end, we're going to have some networking with some pizza and beer provided with the help of Botezatul și Asociații. So thank you for that. Just a little glitch? Okay, good. Okay, so a short intro. Why, what's Legal Hackers and why you should be a part of it. This is an extract taken from the page of Legal Hackers. It's a global movement which involves a lot of experts in the area, in all the areas that come at the intersection of law and technology. So that means lawyers, that means policymakers, that means people which are developing applications in the legal tech space, and also people from the academia. And the main focus is trying to find ways in which these two apparent, very disconnected industries can connect. Since technology has influenced a lot of what is happening in other industries, the same goes for the legal industry, both in terms of private practices, but also the public procedures and the judiciary procedures. How it all started, some of you may be familiar with the Stop Online Privacy Act. It was an act which went under heavy debate in 2011. It awarded the rights without a lot of prior judicial review of copyright holders and federal agencies to take down domain names and the content associated to those domain names if the owners of those domain names were accused of pirating content. A lot of the act stirred a lot of interest and a lot of heated debates. In the end, the authorities decided to put it on hold, but that triggered in some law school students at the Brooklyn legal school, triggered the idea to see if technology could be in some way introduced in the lawmaking process and all other aspects which are related to the legal industry. Because their idea was, okay, the way we build on laws and the way we try to regulate certain aspects must go forward and be related to how things are happening in the 21st century. So to that extent, they decided to see if they could, in quotation mark, hack the lawmaking process. Basically what happens during the legal hackers meetups and the legal hackers meetings, all these types of subjects are being approached through meetups, as the one we are hosting tonight, but also hackathons, conferences. The legal hackers movement also has one global summit annually, where people from all the chapters come in and tackle various problems related to their jurisdictions, but not necessarily, even problems which can influence legal practices all around the world. At the moment there are 53 chapters on 5 continents. A lot of chapters have been opened up starting this year as well, and also in the region, for instance in Kiev. And it all comes down to what we try to do locally for the Bucharest Legal Hackers chapter. And that remains to be seen, because it's a decision that the people that want to get involved in the community are going to take. Me personally, I think, coming a little bit from the field of the legal industry, I think there's a need to intersect technology better with whatever surrounds lawmaking, the legal practices. It's one of the industries which hasn't been yet that massively disrupted by technology, and that is going to happen. So this is a great place to meet people which may be different from you. If you're a lawyer, it's a good place to meet people which come from the software development world and from the tech industry, and vice versa. And together, maybe you can find some solutions to some common problems, and also bridge the gap that sometimes exists between lawyers and software developers. Maybe some of you are familiar with that. Finally, I'm just going to give you some brief details about why I decided to do that, and a little bit about my background. I worked for around 4 years in some legal companies, also in law practices, also interacting with startups in the tech community and established companies in the tech community. Doing that, during that time, I tried to grasp some other ways in which I could express some of my initiatives better. I took up some content writing. I started a few projects, somewhat connected to the tech industry, but which were eventually put on hold. And starting with 1 year and 1 month ago, I joined the Tech Hub team, which a Tech Hub does a lot of projects dedicated to the tech community. We have this event space, we have a co-working space on 2 floors of this building. We're also building a conference called How to Web for the past, the team has been doing it for the past 8 years. And finally, another landmark project is the MPP Academy acceleration program dedicated to early stage tech startups. Finally, I also do building some projects of my own in the legal tech space, and trying to work with tech companies, both on the legal consultancy side and legal tech in general. Okay, enough about me. I'm going to hand it over to the first speaker. Adrian, please come on stage. I'm going to help you with the presentation. Until I make the setup, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, good evening. My name is Adrian, and I'm project manager at Termene. Okay? Can you hear me now? Okay. Okay, so Termene is an online platform. We are specialized in delivering business and legal intelligence tools for Romanian lawyers and companies. Some of you may know about us, some of you maybe not. The company was started 3 years ago, with and for lawyers. Back then, we were only trying to monitor all the core files in Romania, and it was quite a simple idea: send an SMS every time something happens with a file. That project was a failure when it comes to commercial. Was very, very nice. People were quite exhausted. It's very interesting, but nobody wanted to pay, so we had to move on to something different. And now we are dedicated, so to speak, on providing intelligence and information about Romanian companies. So this field with core files helped us a lot in creating this database that we have today. I want to talk to you today about name entity extraction. Before that, how many of you are lawyers? I can get with quite sense, but okay, so the rest are programmers. I got this because this is my enemy. Ever since we started Termene, this is our enemy for us, because Tudor was saying earlier, law field is not technologized enough. There isn't enough technology. And every time we try to sell something to lawyers, they say, oh, I don't need it, I have my agenda. I don't need a CRM, I don't need to organize stuff, I don't need anything. So now when I go to meetings, I have two kinds of meetings. I have meetings with lawyers, and I take my agenda, and I have meetings with business people or young people, and I take my laptop or iPad or something like that. So I can correlate with people. Okay, so name entity expression. Computers doing the lawyer's work. Some amazing advances in artificial intelligence and natural language processing for legal work made some lawyers worry that their jobs are in danger. If you ask me, that's probably not going to happen really soon. But if you don't connect with technology